Okay, so you're in the meeting on Monday morning, and the senior pastor says, hey, we need to lean into our kingdom impact and create more missional touch points. And the youth pastor nods, but has no idea what that actually means. The admin asks, so what's the budget for this? And the worship pastor suggests maybe a sonic landscape that reflects our heart and posture. Now everybody's confused. You've got 5 people in the room speaking 5 different languages, and none of them are Spanish. What happens when your staff are speaking different languages altogether? We're going to talk about that today here on the Healthy Church Staff Podcast. My name's Todd Rhoades, one of the co-founders over at Chemistry Staffing, and I'm so glad, just you and me here on the podcast today. Well, a lot of times communication really does break down at the staff level, maybe not in quite the way that I opened, but a lot of times we just all speak different languages on our team. The senior pastor, a lot of senior pastors tend to speak more vision talk and they use a lot of metaphors. Your admin speaks in deadlines and budget. That's his or her language. Your youth pastor speaks more in relational connections and experiences, and your worship pastor speaks in artistic expressions and atmospheres. Your children's pastor speaks in practical logistics and all kinds of safety protocols that aren't even on your radar. Now, they're all speaking English, but they might as well be all from different planets. And here's where it gets expensive, right? Meetings run long because nobody understands the assignment. Projects stall because create connection means something totally different to everybody that's sitting in the room. Staff get frustrated because they think others aren't listening to them or just don't comprehend what they're trying to say. Leaders repeat themselves constantly and wonder why nothing ever sticks. And your team, they just start avoiding conversations altogether because you end up with 5 separate ministries instead of one unified mission. Now, listen, everybody's trying their best. They're using the language that makes sense in their world, in their role, in their ministry. So part of the problem is just a problem of not language, but translation. And part of the problem is that when we don't understand something or when somebody says something that doesn't resonate or we just don't get it, we just let it pass. And really what you need to do and what you need to encourage with your team is start requiring that translation to happen more in real time. Don't just cover it up. When somebody says, hey, we need to be more missional, stop and ask, tell me what you mean by that. What? Sure, I agree we need to be more missional, but I'm not sure exactly what's it look like on Tuesday. When the worship pastor talks about creating space, be pretty blatant and say, space for what? Specifically, I'm not understanding, no comprendo what you're saying there. Maybe the admin says, hey, we need some systems, but ask, hey, systems to accomplish what outcome? Make people translate their expertise because they do have expertise. That's what they're speaking out of. Make them translate their expertise into shared language that the whole team can understand. And that way you can, over time, create a team vocabulary list of all the words and all the definitions so that everybody's on the same page and everybody understands each other. But here's the deeper issue that nobody talks about. Right. We've already talked about the children's pastor and the youth pastor and the worship pastor and the senior pastor. Executive pastors bring a whole, we won't even go into how the executive pastors come into conversations, right? But there's also a generational layer. The 28-year-old youth pastor learned leadership, a lot of the leadership that they bring to the table from podcasts and conferences and classes that they had last year in college. Meanwhile, the 55-year-old admin or the 65-year-old executive pastor learned management from decades of keeping things running. And your millennial worship leader thinks in collaborative creativity. Your Gen X children's pastor thinks she's structured for safety. They're not just speaking different professional language, they're speaking different generational languages. Same heart, same calling, different operating systems. So here's your bottom line for today. This is all great, right? This is not a problem, but you do need to make sure that you understand each other. And today's bottom line is this: your staff doesn't need to speak the same language. but they do need to help translate for each other. In every staff meeting, when somebody uses some kind of ministry jargon or speaks in their specialty language, just stop and ask and say, hey, can you unpack that? Can you say that in a way that the whole team understands? It'll make your team and your conversations so much better. You can watch how much clearer your conversations become over time when you do this little trick. That's it for today on the podcast. I hope you'll be back and join me again. Remember, great teams don't eliminate differences. They translate them into shared understanding. I will talk to you right back here again on the Healthy Church Staff Podcast tomorrow. Have a good day.